All right, welcome into the second inning here on the Walkout podcast with a friend of the podcast and big MMA fan, Kendra Lust. Thank you so much for being on with us. First and foremost, how you doing during this time, with all the COVID stuff?
Well, I'm hanging in there. I think like the rest of us, it's we're hoping that it ends soon. Our governor just now opened our state. So she was really slow, and she's a Democrat, but we won't get into that. So she's kind of dragging her feet a little bit. But hey, I mean, we're all doing the best that we can, and we're in this together. So just try to be positive. So thank God for sports, or now the idea of them coming back. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we know you're a huge MMA fan, and this Saturday we get UFC 250, and Amanda Nunez, the greatest female fighter of all time, is headlining that card, which is huge. Are you a big fan of Amanda, and are you excited for these fights coming up?
I like her. She is like a force to be reckoned with, 100%. She punches so hard. Like, she's scary. I mean, very intimidating. I think, she's not going to have a problem winning against Spencer. I believe that her opponent lost to Chris Cyborg. So,
yeah.
But it takes one punch. It's like, it's timing. So, I think it'll be a good fight, but ultimately Nunez has the knockout power. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, she does for sure. And like you said, her opponent only lost. She's 8-1. Felicia Spencer, she lost to Cyborg in a decision fight after Cyborg lost to Amanda. So it's going to be a great fight. Mm-hmm. So I was watching a video on YouTube where you were talking about when Conor was coming back and fighting Cerrone. You ended up by picking Conor.
Yeah.
So you know your stuff. Carlos isn't the biggest Conor fan in the world, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll let him slide.
Yeah, no, it is okay. Yeah. I wasn't either at first. And then I learned his story, and I respect what he does and how he branded himself. So for me, like, I look at him differently, not only as one of the greatest fighters ever, but also
he's definitely a businessman. And I appreciate the fact that he changed the game forever. Because of him, fighters are getting paid more now and all that. I just don't think he's one of the greatest fighters of all times. I don't think he's the best fighter right now, but I do think he's the best entertainer and the best businessman right now. I'm a fan of Conor. I follow him since back in the day before he was champ and all that. Right now he deviated a little bit from his tracks, and he was drinking a little too much Proper 12, and he was not focusing on fighting too much. But hopefully he's back. That fight against Cowboy. Hopefully he's back and we get him back. Who's your favorite fighter? Is it Conor?
I like Conor. I have so many,
Give me your top three.
I really Justin Gaethje, like recently, he is just fierce. So I really like him. Cody Garbrandt. I love him. I don't know as far as female. I don't know. I was just thinking of her. I like her.
The Bullet.
I don't know. It's really hard. Nunez is just powerful. I think I don't like the fact a little bit when she wins, she's kind of right in your face. She's cocky, but then she's Brazilian too. So it's like, sometimes I feel like the language barrier and like the difference sometimes can come off a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes, she just rubs it right in their face. It's just like, man, like, it's kind of like not so classy.
No, she lets them know.
That's how the business works, though. You got to sell your fights. You got to sell your brand. And I think that's what she does. And
the lion.
Yeah, I think she does a great job of adjusting wherever the fight goes. You saw that last fight against Randame, and Randame was the better striker in that fight, looked like, so she took her to the ground. So against Felicia Spencer, I think she will do the same. She will adjust to whatever the game plan is, and she will come up with that win. Now that you talk about Cody, though, Cody's fighting in this card in the co-main. The comeback of Cody Garbrandt. We need to see him win.
The third comeback.
Yeah. We need to see him win.
I believe he is going to win this fight. He has been training with a new coach in New Jersey. He's been focusing on his groundwork and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I think he's in a different place mentally, and I think he has a better team to work with. No digs to Uriah Faber and who he used to train with, but I think he needed a new perspective or new coaching, I think, because he has talent. His boxing, he is so fast. I think this is going to be his comeback. He's ready. He's prepared. He's training with a better, I don't want to say better, but just a different style.
I think, everyone in the fight game, all the trainers and the teams and the camps, they're all great in their own right. But I think certain teams, certain camps fit different fighters better. And I think whoever was kind of advising Cody his last couple of fights was really trying to push that boxing and really kind of seek the knockouts. And when I was watching Cody, when I became a huge fan of Cody back in 2016, he was on that rampage, and then he finally got the title shot against Cruz. He was very patient. He picked his shots. Yes. He understood. He had the game plan. But I agree. I think he needed someone new as well. So I'm glad you said that. I didn't even really realize that he was out there in New Jersey working. So we both picked him to win this fight. We think that he's going to come back and he's going to do his thing. So I'm glad to hear that. But I don't think you're in the wrong for saying that he needed a different type of camp, because I think fighters bounce around a lot. And I think that sometimes that's good because it keeps them on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, maybe I'm wrong on this, I feel that there may have been a little tension between him and Uriah, because Uriah 40, he came back. He was amazing in his fight. However, I feel, maybe because Cody beat some of the people that Uriah wasn't able to, that there might have been, and maybe I'm wrong, but
drama.
Yeah, Uriah mentioned recently, maybe even at Jacksonville when he weighed in for the possible step-in fight, that he had been talking to Cody, and Cody seemed very focused and determined. So he is the only alpha male fighter to ever win a championship. I think they're 1-8 in title fights, and Cody's the only guy to pull it off. So maybe there's a little animosity.
You got so many alphas in one gym, and at some point they're gonna end up fighting,
right?
But what I said in this episode is that Cody is very talented. He's probably the fastest guy in the division. It's just more of a mental approach towards his game, where when he gets clipped, he turns it into a street fight. He goes all crazy, haymaker. I need to see a more technical Cody. If he gets hit, he needs to reset and keep going with the game plan. If he goes away from the game plan, then it's the same over and over.
I agree, because he fights with emotion and he's not as cerebral, where he's strategizing. And emotion, I don't know. Sometimes when you're feeding off of that, you're not really in the right mindset, like you said. So I think he's ready. He's winning.
Have you been to any of Cody's fights? Have you been to any of the UFC events that he's fought in?
I have not. However, some friends of mine have, and so I can kind of go off only what I see on TV and read about him. But I went to Conor's last fight. It was just, it's just like nothing. And I want to kind of talk about John Jones a little bit.
Oh yeah, get in there.
That's a hot subject. But when I went to John Jones, I don't know. I feel like the hype is so different. Like everybody knows Conor. He's just
league of his own.
In there. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what did you want to say about John?
I'm like kind of torn back and forth with what's going on between him and Dana White. And I respect it, him being probably the greatest, fighter of all time, his contract says one thing. However, if he's going to go up in weight class, that, he wants to be paid more. And, I respect that. I think like a contract is a contract. However, I guess there were some things that were exchanged between two of them, and who's lying. It's like a he said, she said type thing.
It's a complicated subject right there. We don't call Dana and John.
Yeah, exactly. So, I hate to see him, leave, but he is who he is. He could go to Bellator. They pay as well, and he still gets to do what he wants to do. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see what is going to come about this.
He definitely has options. But I got one last question for you. If you were the UFC matchmaker, what fight will you make for UFC Fight Week?
Your dream fight.
For Fight Week. Your dream fight.
For my
right now.
Fight Week.
Anybody on the roster. No COVID.
Main event only.
Yeah.
Okay. I really want Khabib and Conor. I'm sorry. Yes, I do.
We do too.
It's just like, we're just kind of like waiting for Khabib, the whole passport thing. And there's these issues. And that's the only one that, Conor, or person that Conor's lost to. So it's like, it would be really interesting, He's not as exciting to watch, but it would be exciting. The two of them.
Now you're breaking my heart. Khabib's my favorite fighter.
I dislike him. He's just not as entertaining to me.
No, say it. He's just boring.
Very talented. Just not, and that's okay. Tim Duncan was boring, but he was one of the greatest of all time. He was not flashy. He was just kind of did the basics and got the job done. Where you had Shaq or you had these other Rodman. So it's like, as long as they get the job done. So I just think talent-wise, it's going to be interesting. Or I love it. I think it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, that's a debate that we have all the time.
It's going to happen. I think that with all the talk of like, we just have to wait to play out. Justin's got to fight Khabib. Conor's got to fight this guy. And then eventually they'll fight. Well, if they're going to roll, if they're going to rumble, let's just get it over with. Let's do it. Yes. Conor wants to try to avenge.
We know who the better man is at the end of the day.
Well, that's to be debated over many more years. So
thank you so much, Kendra, for your time. We enjoy speaking to you. Hopefully we didn't take too much of your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, thank you so much. And we're glad you're doing well. And let us know what you think about 250 after it happens.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, see you.